InnerQuest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to InnerQuest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Sherrie Graham. Welcome, Sherrie.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about you. Sherrie uses her expertise to teach women how to enjoy a healthy lifestyle and drop weight without deprivation, calorie counting, or making the gym their home away from home. Well, before we get into how we work with clients, why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I am a wife and mom of 4 kids. My oldest is starting college in the fall, and my youngest will be starting 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. My husband's a police officer, and I have been in the health and fitness field now for a little over 14 years. And I find it fascinating how much nutrition can transform our health.
Well, before the show, you mentioned how you are not a brick and mortar business, right. And I didn't know you had 4 children. I met your husband, but now I understand you basically work over the internet, if I understood you correctly?
Yes, I do. Okay. I do virtual coaching through video, and I have online programs. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And are you the creator of the program?
Yes, actually. It's 90 Days to Fit, Fab, and Fierce.
Oh, okay. That's a wonderful title. Did you think it of yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And we're going to find out more about your program. But tell us more about your background and your training, because you mentioned you've been involved in health and fitness for 14 years.
Right. I have a biology degree from Illinois State University, mm-hmm. And when I became a mom, I decided I wanted something more flexible that worked around the family, and that's when I looked into personal training and became a trainer and decided to leave teaching high school. I was a high school biology teacher, mm-hmm. And after training clients, I discovered how much and how important nutrition is in getting the best results a client wants to, get from all the working out. And I enrolled in the Institute of Integrative Nutrition to become a health coach.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, and do you find the experience as a teacher and a mom helpful in coaching your clients?
Oh, yes. Teaching, it's learning how people learn, like auditory, visual, and practical, or doing. So it does come in handy. And listening, a lot of times listening to them telling me some of their, what they're trying to work on. And
so if I understood you correctly, you got into personal training and health coaching to meet the needs of being a mother to 4 children and a wife. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it fit. It was a natural fit because I have been into health and fitness ever since I was a kid. I was a competitive swimmer, and I lifted weights with my dad, and he was very inspiring to me, inspired me to be healthy and fit. Mm-hmm. And the nutrition and the health coaching, I had some health concerns of my own, so that I found the school very beneficial for myself as well.
Oh, why don't you tell us more about how when you went through the training, you benefited from it through your own personal use?
Well, I did not know as much. I knew a lot about fitness and how to exercise and take care of yourself that way, but I had no idea when your mom and dad and your parents tell you to eat your fruits and vegetables, it really does, they mean eat your fruits and vegetables. It helps you a lot. And nutrition has helped me because of I had hypothyroidism. I was really tired all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fluctuating weight.
Was that in part due to stress?
Yes, definitely. I was not very good in the self-care department, and that's something else we learned.
Well, mothers are so busy taking care of their children.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so what is health coaching?
Health coaches are A professional coach that wants to help people feel their best. And they do that by making a plan, a personalized plan that fits in with their lifestyle. So, and they'll make small changes as they go along and to make those changes permanent so that they improve their health, whether it be losing weight or lowering their blood pressure or anything that they're trying to feel better.
Okay. I didn't know about health coaching until my first guest where I interviewed on health coaching. You're the second person. So it's becoming more popular.
Definitely. I think doctors and nutritionists can tell people what to eat, but it's really hard. They don't have that accountability. And we have the training and the time to keep people on track and to be that coach and be there for them every step of the way, in a way.
Okay. So talk a little bit about your online program. It was Fit, Fabulous, and what was the other one?
Fit, Fab, Fierce.
Oh, Fierce. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, in the intro, I mentioned that you only work with women. And is there a particular reason why you prefer to work with women?
I think because I've been in their shoes. I know what they're dealing with as a mom. I've lost the baby weight. I've put on the weight, and I deal with those same things. So I like that I can give them things that work for me, and hopefully will work for them.
Okay, so somebody finds you online.
Right.
And what's the next step?
I would do a complimentary health coaching call and find out what their goals are, and I would go over my types of coaching. So I have the one-on-one or the group, or I have a complimentary group on Facebook, actually.
Okay. And so this first complimentary call, how long does that typically last?
About an hour, 30
Really?
minutes to an hour. You really want to get to know the person and find out what their lifestyle is like, and what their day-to-day habits are and things like that, so that you can give them the best tips, because you don't want someone to make drastic changes. Most of the time those don't stick.
Yeah, and the individual one-on-one program, do most people opt for that?
I'd say it's about half and half.
Okay, so what goes on with the individual one-on-one program? How does that start?
Okay, well, one-on-one program I do through video calls, and I speak to them every week, about 50 minutes on the phone. And the first call we go over, I like to get their 5-day food log and discuss how much exercise they already do, or if they exercise at all, or what their activity level is. And then I can design their program, and we start out going over each meal and making those changes, and I find out how committed they are to making those changes, and what level of commitment gives me an idea of how many changes they're ready to do.
And are most of your clients committed, not committed, or kind of in between?
I'd say they start out pretty committed, and sometimes they're a little resistant. I've had clients tell me things like, I'll never give up my sweet tea. And then the next thing you know, I'm talking to them in a couple weeks, guess what I gave up? And she gave it up, and I didn't even tell her she needed to. So it is really interesting to see. They just know that it's something that'll...
And so what do the food logs tell you? What information you get for that?
Oh gosh, whether they eat enough. Sometimes women skip so many meals that they're not eating enough.
Can that skipping meals lead to weight gain?
Yes, for sure. The weight gain, it shifts their body into starvation mode into a way, so their body wants to hold on to the excess weight because they don't know when the next meal is going to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a primitive.
Yes. So that, and then the other things with the food log, what types of food, if they're eating any fruits and vegetables and drinking enough water, or if they're a soda drinker and things like that.
Yeah, and so what are the most common problems you hear when the food log comes out?
Oh gosh, I'd say most often it's not eating enough, to be honest with you. They really, or too many carbohydrates. And I try to educate them the different types of carbohydrates and what types to eat, and
Well, start educating the audience. Educate.
Yeah.
So what are the good carbohydrates that are okay to eat, and what are the ones we should typically avoid?
Right. The healthy carbohydrates are as close to the source as possible. So like rice, oats, steel-cut oats, quinoa, things like that. And
Whole grains.
Yes, whole grains, complex carbohydrates. And they take longer to digest, so they don't cause our sugar levels to spike as quickly as, say, pasta and refined flours and things like that.
Okay, so avoid the processed carbs.
As much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about beans?
Beans are, I feel like those are a very healthy carb. Yeah. Yeah, that would.
They have protein too, don't they?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's a lot more protein sources than people realize. They always think of just meat and fish, and there are a lot of seeds and nuts, and the beans have a lot of healthy proteins.
Any other? So we got beans, seeds, nuts. Any other protein sources?
Even green leafy vegetables have some. Right.
Okay. All right. So then you do the food log. How many sessions typically do you need to get someone on a very secure path?
I like to do a 3-month program and speaking to them about every week. And then after that, we talk about whether or not they're ready to extend this program, and then maybe the sessions can become less and less. And I work in the personal training too. Some people are exercising, and so I'll find out what type of workouts they're doing, and we'll go over that as well.
And what are some of the exercises you like to do?
For me?
Yeah. Well, for you, and then recommend for your clients.
Well, it depends on the client. I have some women that are already, exercising regularly, going to the fitness classes to the gym, and so I may give them a few tweaks in their workouts to try and boost their metabolism to burn more fat.
So do you recommend like weight training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do very much so. And actually, I recommend it more than cardio. It depends on the person's goals. If they're wanting to lose fat and they're on a time crunch,
Like before a wedding?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're trying to lose weight and they have a goal in mind, or a high school reunion, or beach vacation, anything, things like that. I recommend getting in as the weight training. If they can do both, great. But if they can't, then I say do the weight training first and then do what cardio you can, because cardio still has a lot of benefits.
Okay. So how long do you recommend women lift weights, and how many times per week?
I'd say 3 times a week is pretty good. Everybody's a little bit different. I don't like to say, oh, go for it 5 days a week if they never have lifted weights before. But I'd say on average 3 times a week, and rest different body part, like work out different body areas.
Like a bodybuilder would
Kind of, yes. Yeah.
Have you ever visited Curves?
Curves, yes, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a really good type of program there. And it's what's nice about things like that is it's set. The women that don't have a lot of background in exercise, they can go around to each time. They're timed at each station, and it's good workout. It's interval training, from what I understand.
And so what sort of changes are you looking for in your clients as they progress through your 3-month program?
Well, first off is I like to see their changes in mindset. I think a lot of women have an all or nothing approach, so they give up if they have a bad day where they didn't get their workout in they wanted, or they didn't eat as healthy as they wanted. And I tell them to just get back on track the next day. That all or nothing approach needs to really stop so that they can reach their goals.
So all or nothing. So like, let's say a woman hits a rough patch for a day or two and then just gives up, and so it doesn't that would be all an example of all
Right,
nothing.
right, and that's why we have I have everybody in an accountability group as well, and it's all done through social media, and we post, do little mini challenges in there to keep them on track. Water, we talk about how much water they should be drinking,
And the mini challenge, can you give some examples of the mini challenges?
Well, the first one would be water. I think that's an easy one, for some people. Some, they only drink a small amount of water every day, and so I have them gradually increase. And so the goal would be by the end of the week to be able to get in their daily allowance of water, or recommended daily allowance.
Yeah, when you say a small amount of water, how much water are these people drinking?
Some are only doing 1 cup a day.
1 cup of water a day.
Yeah, they just don't have a taste for it, aren't thirsty, go for the coffee and teas and things like that instead.
Yeah, and so you've got the accountability group. How many members are part of the accountability groups?
It depends on the time of year. I'll have, the groups can get to be about 15 women to, 5. So it just kind of depends. It fluctuates throughout the year.
And do they develop a friendship?
Yes, they do. I think they find, and
it's like a support group.
Yes, and business, the networking a little bit too. I've had a real estate in there or a travel agent, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and where are your clients from? If you're over the internet, they could be out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I have had clients from all over, California and Missouri, and then of course locally too. I'm from the Plainfield, so Naperville. A lot of people know me from the neighborhoods, so they're from locally too.
How did you ever find Infinity? Or we found you?
Yes, Stacy. Actually, a client follower on Facebook tagged me in a post. Stacy was looking for guests on the that work with holistic services, and Mandy tagged me, and I reached out and explained to her what I did, and it went from there.
Okay, good. Do you ever teach?
Fitness classes,
nutrition classes?
Yes, actually, I do speaking engagements. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Infinity's always looking for teachers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. I try to educate my clients so during the program that they learn everything they need, so when they're done, they can look at nutrition labels and so that the rest of their life they don't.
So you give a woman a fish, you feed her lunch. Teach her how to fish, feed her for her life.
Right.
You're trying to teach your clients how to fish.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And so what are the age range of the women who participate?
I'd say mostly 30 and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would be the up part? We talking 50, 60, 80?
Oh, almost 70.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of women. I have a client that is doing great. I was personal training when I do go to people's homes once in a while, and she's local, and so I was personal training her for a while, and she lost a ton of weight and getting in shape, and she never exercised before. So the first time I came to her house, it was all foreign to her, and now she's taking reformer classes and Pilates and.
Well, and I would think that her doctor has noticed the changes changes in her blood work or blood pressure, medicines.
Yes, I believe, if I remember correctly, she was worried about blood pressure and being pre-diabetic and things like that, and that's all gone away.
Good. And how old was this woman?
65.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So this is the individual classes, and do people stop the classes, then fall off the wagon, and then come back to you?
Right, and that's what I like about the complimentary group I have. They can always be in there.
Is there a charge for that?
That one, no. I call it Shred 5 with Sherrie. So the Shred 5 is shredding bad habits, basically, trying to instill those healthy habits. So they're always there, and so when they post and get those notifications, or when I post, then it'll show up in their news feed, and hopefully even though they might have maybe fell off the wagon, so to speak, for a few days, maybe they're like, oh, I'm ready again, and maybe they'll just start participating in the free challenges. So like those water challenges or eliminating sugar, that's a big one. I try to sugar cravings are a big problem, and people want it, and that's, I think, what the main reason people put on weight. A lot of times people think fat makes them fat. It's not. It's the sugar.
Yeah. Well, my understanding of sugar, they don't want the sugar, they want what the sugar does.
Right. It acts in our brain the same way a drug does, and brings out those happy feelings.
The pleasure center of the brain.
Right.
Yeah, and so typically, where are your clients getting their sources of sugar from? Candy, cakes, cookies?
Yes, and yeah, sweet drinks. And
And so do you recommend replacing those sugars with something else?
Oh yes, I have 3 things I really like to tell clients to do, and the first is to go cold turkey. I think sugar craving was a huge problem for me, and I was a sweet tooth. I ate ice cream every night and candy every day, and it was awful. And the inflammation built up in my body to where I was having, knee aches and pains in my early 30s. And once I gave up the sugar, a lot of things went away, all those aches and pains. So
have they stayed away?
Yes, as long as I do really well. I can't say I'm perfect, but I do pretty good.
Good. So it's your body's just way of saying, sure, you got to eat a little differently, or sure, you got to stick to the program.
Yes, and what I was saying, like the 3 things that I tell people to do, yes, give up cold turkey, because it's almost like a drug. So if they give it up, then they go through a little bit of withdrawal, but once they're past that little hump, then it's fine, and then replace it with healthy
would
things.
Headaches be part of the withdrawal?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Absolutely.
a little crabbiness.
Crabbing, yes. Mood swings, fatigue, headache, even aches. I tell them to really up their self-care. So take care of themselves, do their meditation or prayer or baths and meditative walks.
Okay, and so what would be the second or third thing to give up sugar?
Yes, to increase their healthy fats, things like avocados, the nuts and seeds for sure, to help crowd out the sugary sweets and keep their blood sugar levels more even throughout the day, and that way they won't. I think what a big problem for me was I would eat the sugar, my blood sugar would go up, I'd feel great, and then it would
Go down a lot more.
Yes, and then I just want more.
Yeah.
And so if you can keep, your protein and fat intake pretty consistent through the day, then it will help tremendously. And then the third one is replace those sugary snacks with another sweet treat, but something that's nutrient dense. And I give people in my program recipes that they can make their own, like protein power balls and things made out of natural peanut butter and honey, or stevia, natural, healthier.
These protein power balls, so it'd be like a little ball?
Yeah, and my kids my kids love to make them too. So
oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they can reach for those instead of, a candy bar.
And are you trying to teach your kids to eat well?
Oh yes, I have 3 teenagers, so as much as you can you can only control so much. The youngest one, you're around a little bit more, so you have a little more control. But they know
Do they see themselves as different or special from their peers?
Sometimes they joke that they're deprived,
yeah.
but I feel they know. And what's neat now is that they are in sports in high school, and their coaches are explaining the best way to eat in order to perform better. So my son's on track, and his coach is saying, you need to eat your healthy carbohydrates and things like that before your race, and he's doing it. He put his name on a banana to save it for him, because we have a big family, so he doesn't want that banana to get eaten. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, and does your son realizing when he eats better, he performs better?
Oh yes, for sure. And he's gluten sensitive too, so when he feels a huge difference if he accidentally even gets anything like that.
May I ask, what is his event in track?
The mile, and
Okay.
what else did he do? He did the.
Is he hoping for a scholarship?
Oh, I don't know yet. He's he's going to be a sophomore, so I mean that would be fantastic. This is his first year on track, so I was really surprised how well he did. his goal was to break that 4-minute or the 5-minute mile.
Well, a 4-minute is very fast.
Right, he had a 5 flat. And so he was really bummed that he just didn't get into that forest, and then track season ended. So, but he has 3 more years ahead of him, so we'll see what happens.
Good. What are the first steps for people at the start of working towards health goals?
The first step, I would say, is take that big goal. Let's say they want to lose 20 pounds or lower their blood pressure, and break it down into smaller steps and smaller goals. So
attainable goals, so
yes.
you got progress,
yes.
and you it's not all or nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they lose a pound that week, it's a win, and that's what I talk about in my group, and to post it and just break it down into smaller steps and attainable, so they feel like they're making progress every time, because getting to 20 is going to take a while. It doesn't happen overnight, and I think that's why people have so much trouble.
Okay. And what are your suggestions to staying and getting motivated?
I'd say the accountability, finding an accountability partner, and if you can't, the accountability group, like my program, the Fit Fab Fierce program.
Did you ever hear of the Mastermind group by Napoleon Hill?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, you're kind of using the principles of Napoleon
Yes, I
Hill.
love Napoleon Hill's books.
Yeah,
yes.
Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah, and the one, oh gosh, now I can't think of. But I use his books a lot in mindset training when I talk about it in the group.
And did you bring in those photos?
I did, and
You forgot them.
they're in the bag.
Yeah. All right. What are your favorite parts of being a health coach?
My favorite part of being a health coach is besides seeing people's transformations, is also the non-scale victories and the wins, the getting more energy, hearing the news that they were able to run and play and jump with their kids and keep up with them at the park, and or put on the pair of jeans that they haven't worn in years, those sorts of things.
Getting off the medication.
Oh yeah, that's as well.
Sleeping better.
Yes, I have
better mood.
A lot of people
better attitude.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Several clients have been on steroids for autoimmune diseases and things like that. When they can cut back or get off of those completely,
those steroids are awful.
Right.
I mean, the side effects are awful.
Right.
Yeah. And what are some of the autoimmune diseases you've worked with?
Crohn's is a big one, and MS.
Mm-hmm.
So, and helping people the most with those is getting them off of the inflammatory foods like the gluten, the sugar and dairy.
And do you see progress with MS patients?
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah, I've even been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, scleroderma. If you've ever heard of that one.
I have. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's hardening of the connective tissue in our bodies, and I actually keep it under total control without medication because of...
Well, we just have 1 minute left,
Okay.
so please say what you want for 30 seconds. And or give the audience a little advice then.
I'd say just to stay consistent and not give up, and keep moving forward. Each day is a new day.
Well, I think you have a unique program. And what I like about it is you're not an island, that we're human beings, we're social beings, and that we use other people to help ourselves, or help themselves.
Yeah.
All right, for more information about Sherrie, Infinity Foundation InterQuest Talk Show, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Till next time, wish you good health, good fortune, and good spirits. Good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more information about this show, our guest, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.